It's my life, it's your life, it's our life, it's our life, our life. Come on, it's my life, it's your life, it's our life, it's our life, it's our life. You got to make a decision.
Welcome to the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast. I'm Rash, your host. No bars and stars. Me plus you equals the choices we have to make. Poli-sci 2.0. We do this every night from 7:30 to 8:30. It's the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast. I am Rash, your host, chief Holla-tician, narrator, orator, and the hardest Negro under 6 feet since Eric Easy E. Wright. Peace to the West Coast gangster. Holla-tics, I need y'all to wake up. I know you had a long day at work and you ready to go to sleep and see Tuesday, but guess what? I need y'all to wake up. Let's go. This is the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast. I am Ras, your host. What is a Holla-tic? A Holla-tic is a person that's not afraid to say whatever they need to say, including if it's based on politics. We unapologetic about it, right? What is Holla-ticking? Holla-ticking is talking about whatever we feel like talking about. And since it's election season, we heavy politics, but it's cool. See, I'm kind of up on age. I just can't talk about stuff that don't make sense, you know? We don't celebrate celebrity culture too much here. Not that we're against it. We just feel like it's so many other people doing it. Why would we do it here? We follow the power. The power is with the money and with the policy. Most of all, importantly, the power is with you and me and the choices that we have to make. And that's what we do on Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast. Let's go. Holla-tics, y'all check in. Me and Gabe gave y'all Friday off, man. I know how the women be wanting they Friday to themselves, so I'll let y'all go. But we ain't keeping no less light, though. I just can't, man. I feel like it's so much we could talk about. There's so much unwanted potential that within us that doesn't get discovered. And it takes places like here, the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast, in order to get that done. Right, whoa, Holla-tics are checking in. We got Holla-tics 7 Kroger. We got Holla-tics Rod Whoa. We got Holla-tics Gabriel Robinson checking in. We got Holla-tics Michael Robinson checking in. Rod Whoa say night. That's right, you can check us out night if you don't catch us live on holla-tics.com. That will take you to our YouTube account, where the show is streaming live right now. Right now, streaming live on Facebook, my personal page, also the Cashnet page, also the Twitter page via Parameter, also Twitch. Jump in. Let's go. Let's go. Holla-tics, y'all check in from around the globe tonight, man. This is Monday. We back on the saddle. Man, I've been trying so hard to just stay away from the obvious, right? The obvious conversations, COVID-19, President Trump, but some stuff you just cannot stay away from. You know, that's why, I created, let me make a confession here. I created the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast because I wanted to talk about things that I felt were important that may have been going overlooked or may have been overlooked or may be going overlooked in, mainstream media. But I'm not the best at that, because sometimes people want to hear the obvious. They want to hear about the stuff that everybody's talking, about. So that is why partially I created the podcast to be interactive, because I wanted to know when I was in the right vein or not. I think everything I choose to talk about, has relevance to it. But sometimes people don't quite see the connection until later on down the road. I tell y'all all the time, when you run with me, we kind of run in the future, We look at the past and we see what's going on in the present, but we choose to run in the future when you're a Holla-tic. So Holla-tics, I need y'all to check in tonight. Now, on the floor tonight, of course, we got the obvious. If you're reading, the pre-post, we got to talk about our president, sitting president, not the president-elect, but the sitting president on the floor tonight. But, we still got news to talk about. Hollatics are weighing in. Otis Young, thanks you for checking in tonight, man. Hollatics, y'all check in tonight. Now, when I say Hollatics, y'all check in, a lot of people watch the show. They go past the page and they'll just look. They'll catch a peek. I've even had friends say, Raz, man, I want to weigh in. I don't know. So when I say check in, that means weigh in. Let me know you here. And if you're just watching and you want to weigh in, every Holla-tic has a place here. Every Holla-tic has a voice. Don't matter if it's contrary or in agreement to the present one that's on the floor or the present one that's in power. It don't matter. Every Holla-tic has a voice here on the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast. How do you become a Holla-tic? When you tune in to 2 or more shows and you weigh in. You just can't watch them. You got to say, look here, bro, this is what I think. You do that twice, you become a Holla-tic. Now, if you do it all the time, you become like me and Rywald and Gabriel and Seven Grogan. You become a Holla-tician. And when you get to become a Holla-tician, then you take it on to these barbershops. What's up, Holla-tic Alex Young? What is it? Alex Wolf. What am I thinking about, Alex? I seen Otis Young above your name. Alex Wolf. The Wolf is checking in tonight from Zamunda. How's the weather in Zamunda? Wolf, it can't be good for you. If you're a wolf and you're in the Zamunda, you have to be hot. You don't have to tell everybody. Just DM me if you're hot. You're a wolf in the Zamunda. It cannot be going well for you. I'm just saying, Wolf. I'm just saying. But anyway, Hollatics, I need y'all to check in tonight, man. We're going to quit stalling. Normally, I put some videos on, but I ran through my own videos. I know y'all probably, not in my face is looking real lovely with the new lighting and cameras, man. So I'm like, maybe they don't need videos. That's an overkill. Alex says lovely. Holla-tic Wolf says lovely in Zamunda, man. You got to send me some tickets, man. They probably really cheap now since, everybody's scared to get on planes because of COVID, man. You got to send me some tickets, man. I want to see how it is in Zamunda, man. But anyway, on the floor tonight in the news, Pfizer's down in stock, that is. I think I don't know how many percentage it was down today, about 3%. But Moderna is up, stating that they are now in phase 3 of their vaccination, showing a 94% effectiveness rate, opposed to Pfizer's 90%. Also, the transportation and the storage process will be simpler with Moderna because the temperature requirements is less rigorous than Pfizer's below 90 degrees. Now, Moderna is checking in saying we are in phase 3. Pfizer's already got shots in the needles, shots in the arm. And here we got Moderna saying they're now in phase 3 and that their rate of effectiveness is actually 4 to 5% higher than Pfizer's. And the storage and transportation of the Moderna's vaccination is a little bit less tricky because Pfizer, you had to store it at negative 90 degrees. I can't imagine how cold that is. So you have to have containers when you fly to places. And of course, Pfizer has said they will have 100 million shots available by the end of this year. So can you imagine 100 million shots at negative 90 degrees? Wow. I can only imagine how cold that is. Moderna, of course, saying that they will have at least 20 million by the end of this year. And both of these companies are, planning a massive production for 21. Now, based on what I'm hearing, we're not expected to have a mass public vaccination until like April 21. But it will be available for not medical, but emergency. Anywhere between from now to the end of this year, man. So pretty exciting news, man. Pretty exciting news. Holla-tics Gabe say this is going to be the race to see which company can get the vaccine out first and whose success rate is in the 90%. That is right, Gabe. Moderna is winning so far. They got a 94.5 effectiveness rate. Now, me, I wouldn't care. If it's 90 to 94, man, give me the shot. And right now, Pfizer is ready. Moderna is still in phase 3, which is at the edge of being ready. And so, yeah, it's a race, Gabe. And I said this on the show probably a couple shows ago. When you want to get something to somebody in need swiftly, put a price tag on it. Sometimes we fool ourselves with humanity thinking that, if you made a humanitarian appeal to the public, you could get everything you need. But the truth is, you say, hey, I got $1,000 if you can get me this. It'll happen faster, man. It's one of them ways where our culture can tend to be hypocritical at times. But hey, we ain't perfect. We're Americans, right? Pfizer's down today in the stock. Of course, in stock you sell a hype, right? And so I think both of these companies will do well. I own Pfizer, a little bit of Pfizer. Also, I own a couple of other, not a couple, but another biotech company. And the reason why they all doing well, and what that is in the stock market is what you call sympathy plays. When the biotech, one company is doing well in the biotech world, and often several are doing well. That is what you call sympathy plays in the stock market. Also in the news today, Beyonce announcement of her partnership with Peloton. With the bicycles, the Peloton boosted the stock 4% the day of the announcement. Since then, it fell back about 2%. I think it was up 1% today. And I figure it was just profit takings and selling the news. B is a force to be reckoned with, man. She is a queen. Y'all talking about stilettos and heels. B can move a company with the announcement that she hooking up with him. So you can't be mad at that. Hollatics 7 Grogan say the vaccine is a huge money-making scheme brought to you by Big Pharmacy. I cannot be mad at your comment, 7, or disagree with you. I believe the big pharmacies is going to make a whole bunch of money off of this, man. Alex Wolf said Obama said that there was Obama said something that was pretty profound. By Trump saying he was cheated, he's now set the president for others to feel like the voting process is a joke. How do you feel about it? If I'm jumping the gun, my bad. That is Alex Wolf. Yeah, you are jumping the gun, Wolf. And how do I feel about that? I am going to let you know because that is our floor subject. I hope you can hang around, but I if you can't, I won't punish you. I will try to entertain your question as quick as I can without taking away from Queen B in the news today. So I do believe that. I think it wasn't just Trump. I think the last maybe 3 presidential elections was problematic as far as how we look to the rest of the world in respect wise. I think the president races have become so much of a shot, a low shot that people play for broke, or they go low, or they hit low so much to where it kind of deal with the whole integrity of our whole country to some extent. It's like we become one big entertainment piece to the rest of the world. I could be fantasizing that. I believe the rest of the world respect us, but I believe how they respect us is important too. So, according to Wolf asking me that, I don't believe it was just, President Trump's administration, but I believe the last 3 presidential campaign races, including Obama's last one. Not Obama's last one, but I can't say Obama's last one because, you had Trump speaking how he was speaking towards Obama all throughout the Obama's administration. So, yeah, I do think it weakened us a little bit, Wolf. I do think that, man. But we're going to talk about that later on the floor, man. That's the floor subject. Hollatics y'all weigh in. But Beyonce's announcement, man, boosted Peloton 4% the day of the announcement. You sell the news. I think it sold off about 4%, about 2% of that spike. I don't think that was due to hype. I think that was just people profit taking. But B is a force to be reckoned with, man. You talking about Pepsi, Adidas, and Peloton, and that now that all these companies are invested with B, these are partnerships. B don't do endorsements; she does partnerships. She's bigger than endorsements. These companies. That means these companies have to also look out for each other. Peloton wants Adidas to prosper because Beyonce is prospering, with Ivy Park, and Pepsi. I don't know how they could fit in to the Peloton Adidas thing, being that it's sugar and water. But I mean, some kind of way, all these people are in partnership with B, and they all want the same thing, which is success, man. So hats off to B. I got to, man. She's Houstonian. Native Houstonian. Queen B is in the business news today, boosting Peloton stock by 4% the day of her announcement of her partnership. It pulled back a little bit today, but I figure that's just sell off. I think they got a very long and prosperous journey with B. I honestly do. But Hollatics y'all weigh in tonight. That is what's in the news. Pfizer, Moderna, Peloton, and Beyonce, man. The race for the COVID vaccine is what's up, y'all. Man, I can't tell you. God has blessed me. I can't say that to where, I have not seen a whole lot of issues within my own family, close family. And we've been careful. We've been a good family. We've wore our masks. We're not Hercules. We're not running out here doing stuff we're not supposed to be doing. But who's to say? Got Holla-tics Gabe here, who actually him and his wife just went through positive results. Gabe say, like you said, he woke up the Democrat. Oh, what is this, Gabe? I'm looking at an old message. Got a couple Holla-tics that came down with it, man. Which brings me to something before we move to the floor. I'm often bombarded about my music career and Raz, how does music change from now? And you guys was this and these guys like that. And I think communication technology plays a big part. Of course, it plays a big part in how music is promoted. But I think about, in our heydays, we had to be a little more consecrated, I would say. And people want to say, well, y'all better, well, y'all real. I think we was just a little more consecrated, a little less spread it out. Or I don't want to say watered down because I don't want to be negative concerning nowadays. But, I think about that and comparing that with the Hollatics show because a lot of people that tune in to the podcast are in different places. And so I have to have them tune in. I like for people to tune in. Rather, it's not a mandatory deal, but I like for people to tune in because often when I speak, you know, my perception, or perspective, I'm staying as objective as I can. But you might see it from a whole different way, based on where you at. It reminds me of the music days when I was young, man. We had to have NWA talking about the West Coast, or, you know, Tretch and Naughty by Nature talking about the East, and the Ghetto Boys down here in the South. We were all reporting to each other about conditions, man. And, you know, back then it probably was a little more serious than it is now, you know. Hip hop became prosperous and people began to make money, and it got less serious. It got less about you and me issues, choices, and just, you know, the life of a rock star. And, you know, we live and we go on and we grow. But, you know, again, all that's in reference to me and the Holla-tics show. I love for you guys to check in because a lot of the stuff we talk about, I may see it from one way being in Houston, but you might see it from another way being in Ohio, and he may see it another way being in Florida, and he may see it another way being in Arizona, man. So, you know, it's our way of reporting back to each other, you know, keeping each other earnest at the same time. And false information, you know, the internet is the breeder of false information. And, you know, sometimes we could get bombarded by false information too often. And it tenses. It tenses, you know. I remember when Obama was running for his first campaign, and I watched a whole lot of CNN. And back then, I felt like it was a little more, you know, middle point than what it is now. I think both networks, which I mean CNN and Fox, have both, you know, they pull their heavy guns out and let you know what they're about, man. But back then, it was a little more, you know, on the level with Obama's first election. So I watched the power of news and how it had an opportunity to sway people. And I was like, man, you know, wouldn't it be good if you could have raw people reporting everywhere just based on what they're seeing on the street level? So, you know, the whole podcast thing hadn't, you know, came to fruition at that point in time. So now that we podcasting, man, we get to tell each other how it's going down, like right now, you know. We don't have to wait for an album to come out. We don't have to wait for all kinds of other stuff to take place. We can do it right now. Holla-tics Alex Wolf say, so after the vaccination, is the plan to open the world back up? Yes, Alex, I would say that definitely, because the stock market is behaving like, you know, the world is going to open back up, even in energy. Now, retail could be a little tricky, but in energy, when you see energy starting to pick up, that means they're expecting trips, you know, for as cruises and airplanes, stuff that uses oil, man. So, yes, I do believe now that all these companies are racing to supply, you know, vaccines, the country will open back up. That is Alex Wolf weighing in. Holla-tics Victor Moore is checking in tonight. Gabe Robinson, the Music 9 sounded too much like the world. Y'all music stood up because y'all had the Holy Spirit in y'all lyrics. Gabe is saying the stuff that I do not want to say. You know, I appreciate it, Gabe. To me, it was serious. When I started rapping for God, man, I didn't care about fame so much as the seriousness of the message and what we was trying to get out. And so to this day, a lot of people stumble up on my page and they don't know that Delbert Harris is a little rascal. But, you know, because I never tried to draw fame to my name. It was more so about the message with me. You know, and I bragged in music. Rap is a competitive genre, braggadocious genre, and we go back and forth and we brag and we do all kinds of stuff. But to me, the message was always what was important. And I think that's when you see the Holy Ghost show up, is when we stay according to the word, because, you know, the Spirit is word. The word is life. The Spirit is life. And so, you know, that's what we was basically about, Gabe. And I I thank God that you felt that you feel that. Because that was definitely, that was the goal. That was the aim. That was the motive. That was the MO. So, appreciate the comment, my brother. Always, though. Okay, we family, man. We just living out loud in front of people right here, man. We'll do that for them, Gabe. You already know what it is, bro. You already know what it is. Holla-tics, y'all check in. If you're just tuning in, this is the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast. I am Rash, your host, Holla-tician, Holla-tic, and we still got tonight floor subject coming up. Now, if y'all are tuning in live and you're not tuning in via audio, you've already seen, in writing what the floor subject is. And again, man, I try so hard to run from the obvious, the news that everybody's reporting on, and you done been beat to breaks with different facts and all kinds of stuff, man. But I try to stay off those subjects, but sometimes you need those, man. Sometimes you need those, and tonight is one of them nights, man. So we're getting ready to go to the floor right now. Holla-tics, y'all check in from around the globe. This is the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast. And I will see y'all on the floor, man. If you're just tuning in, this is the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast floor. This is where we come to get it down and gritty. This is where the show meets the rubber to the road, and you this is where I need you to get your TikTok fingers, your Instagram fingers, your Snapchat fingers, your Facebook fingers, your Twitch fingers, your WhatsApp fingers. Whatever you choose to use when you write the most passionate, grittiest, grimy, heartfelt message. Like that music, this is where we come to get gangster. See, I like to put gangster pictures up there before we get into our floor subject. Right there is the picture of MLK, Martin Luther King, because he was gangster by what he did. He was so gangster, he didn't even need violence, man. Changed the world. That's what we do right here on the Holla-tics Live Interactive Podcast floor. We drop the subjects that change the world. Holla-tics, let me see you loosen up. We mean to make poli-sci cool, because I think the choices that you have to make is cool. I think every time you neglect a choice, you give up a little bit power on yourself. And I don't think that's cool. I think every time you are given an opportunity to make a choice, you should take that power. You should make the best choice you can. That's called good stewardship. And I believe that is why iron sharpen iron, man, because we're good stewards. Listen, Holla-tics, welcome to the Holla-tic floor for the audio. If you're just tuning in, it's the Holla-tic Live Interactive Podcast. I am Rash, your host, chief Holla-tician, narrator, orator, and the hardest Negro under 6 feet since Eric Easy E. Wright. Tonight on the floor, Holla-tics 43, Trump conceding. Many believe President Trump has won. That's right, many believe he won. Or he at least has a point pertaining to the vote counting process. And we all know Trump believes that he has been fraudulently cheated out of the election. Whether he lost earnestly or not, almost half the country is directly influenced by President Trump. So Holla-tics, on the floor tonight, I'm asking you, should President Trump drop it out and go ahead and concede? Yes, no, and why? Holla-tics, I need y'all to weigh in tonight. Now, I wanted to go further in depth and list even more bullet points concerning this issue. To me, it was black and white. And I believe to a lot of other people it's black and white as well, because we've always seen it go down very easy. We've seen the count happen. We've seen the electoral college numbers go in. We've seen the president make it to, or the president-elect make it to 270. We've seen the sitting president concede. We've seen the current administration take over, and we see the country take on another 4 years. That is how it's been most of the time. I think President Kennedy got shot and Lyndon B. Johnson became president, who was his sitting vice. I believe that happened in my lifetime. I was too young to remember that. And if you're younger than me, then all you know is presidents being sworn in, the other one concedes, and the other one moves on. But here we are making history, right? Because President Trump, although he lost by popular vote and electoral college-wise, he has refused to concede. And he even has went far to challenge certain states' voting process by lawsuits. Again, we talked about this a couple days ago. In Pennsylvania holds 20 electoral college votes, and his lawsuit was dropped there. His lawyers dropped the suit there. So without that, he couldn't win. But yet he has yet to concede. So Hollatics, I ask y'all, should he just go ahead and fall in line and concede? Now, whether he does or not matters. How he does it matters. Because, again, Joe Biden beat him by 4 million people, 4 million votes, which is not a lot. It's the high 49s, the high 40s, past 45% of the country is rolling with Trump. So the influence that he has, or the influence that he has, that just don't go away, even if he concedes. He could almost be more dangerous back in the private sector, influencing policy, than if he just left the office. So Hollatics tonight, Hollatics 43, Trump conceded. Many believe President Trump has won. They believe that voter fraud is taking place and he's the winner. Or at least he has a point pertaining to vote counting process, the vote counting process. Many officials have weighed in and said this has been the most safest election ever. But Trump believes that has been voter fraud. Whether he lost earnestly or not, almost half the country is directly affected by our sitting president, Donald Trump. So Hollatics, I ask y'all to weigh in tonight. Should President Trump concede in good conscience? Yes, no, and why do you believe so? Hollatics, I need y'all to weigh in tonight. Urban Vegas is weighing in. Vegas is in the house, weighing in via YouTube. If you have not went over to the YouTube and subscribed, please do so. Hollatics, I need y'all to weigh in tonight. Now, President Trump is definitely making history, if nothing else. Because I've never seen this happen, and because this has never happened, there's been very little people do research on that. But he's well within his rights. I guess when you get that high up, it's just like, it's gentleman laws, because there are no laws saying that he has to concede. Now, there are aides that's close to him. I was reading in the news today. One of his top advisors was like, it's time to concede. And even Joe Biden is in the news appealing to the public, saying, that could be more COVID deaths or even more danger because of the virus, because he hasn't conceded and began to make the peaceful transfer. Now, anytime you see a president appeal to the people, which is what Joe Biden is doing, President-elect Joe Biden, that is a power that the president has that is not shared by the Supreme Court or Congress. It's kind of like their nuclear bomb. When they have no other weapon, they appeal to the public. And so you kind of see Joe Biden doing a little bit of this before he even get in the seat. Now, is it for good reason? Heck yeah, I believe so. Because, again, half of the country is rolling with Donald Trump. So if he can get on TV and appeal and say, hey, man, get your boy to turn over the keys, you know, they may have some sway with Trump. And so you kind of see, you know, but Joe been in there for 47 years, so he knows the moves he making. So Holla-tics on the floor. Should President Trump concede? Or should he keep the country in charades? I know a lot of Holla-tics, not a lot, but a few Holla-tics, believe that he's still president. I had some people weigh in and say, Raz, I ain't quit. I think he is our guy. And I had a conversation today with a good friend of mine who believed that it ain't over, Raz. I personally thought it was. I trust the electoral process. I trust the election process. And personally, I felt it was over. But here we are. We on the floor tonight. You know, should Trump concede? I have to weigh in tonight as well. Holla-tic Alex Wolf say, if he bows out gracefully, he would help keep the integrity of the system. I believe so, Alex. I believe it would definitely add to the integrity of the voting system. I think we've already jeopardized ourselves nationally. You know, we like a soap opera here, man. And, you know, whether that's good or bad is for the time to tell. We still the biggest boy on the block, so even though people might mock and make fun of us, nobody can knock us off our soapbox. But I do feel like not only the whole Trump situation, but, you know, how dirty we fight in presidential elections, man. I think it bears a stain on our whole country sometimes. Holla-tic Gabe Robinson say he should concede because if not, it will continue to allow the unrest in this country and just simply respect the president's position for being the president, which is the highest office in the land. So this is Holla-tic Gabe Robinson saying he should concede. It's a respectful thing to do as well as it will help the unrest. I agree, Gabe. I agree with your comment. I think it's a very wise one to do. I saw a picture of the people that hit the streets for him, and I mean, like, wow. And again, you know the numbers, right? You know, you don't really have to see the numbers, but when you see them, it's like it brings home a whole nother point. You know, again, almost half the country rolled for him, but then when you see like 1 million people flood the streets, you're like, wow. You know, even without the White House, you got to think about the influence that he has, man. We're talking about President Trump conceding and, you know, giving up the White House keys to President Biden. Holla-tic 7 Grogan say, no, it's not in his DNA. Trump didn't become wildly successful in his life because he's a quitter. Voter fraud is obviously true, but to what degree? I'm unsure, but I don't think the election was handled right, and I think he should exhaust everything he can and have every state in question investigated. He tweeted this morning, I won the election. I wouldn't quit or concede until they forced me to. I pray this exposes how messed up the Electoral College is and the voting process has become. Welcome to the beginning of Sodom and America. And of course, that is none other than Holla-tic 7 Grogan saying he believed the election bared some corruption. And he believes Trump should exhaust every resource he has before he concedes. So this is what I love about this show. You have Holla-tics, man, weighing in on both sides. As Holla-tic 7 Grogan say, Trump shouldn't concede till he exhausts every manner of resource he can, and then, still go for it. Course 7 is no fan of the present administration that's coming in. Neither is Holla-tics Rywall. He say, let me help you out. Nancy Cray Pelot. He won't concede. That is Holla-tics Rywall. And again tonight, Holla-tics on the floor. Holla-tics 43, Trump conceding. Many believe Trump had won. Still believe voter fraud is a mass. Or at least he has a point pertaining to the voting fraud. Whether he lost earnestly or not, half the country is still indirectly influenced by the sitting president. Should Trump concede? Yes, no, and tell me why. Holla-tics, y'all weigh in tonight. Of course, because I'm a Holla-tic, I have to weigh in, but I won't do so just yet. Now, at first, when Trump, he burst out with the lawsuits, and he began to question certain states' practices when it came to the voting county. I thought it was just, a businessman play or a lawyer play. You try to do everything you can to push the deadline back. But then you had like reputable Republicans, I'm sorry. Reputable Republicans come out and begin to in so many words, hold his arms up. I would have thought the opposite. Now, me, I probably would be a bad party member. I probably would be one in the background saying, man, come on, bro. We need to keep this thing moving. There's people dying. We need a stimulus on the floor and all that. But you got people that's like reputable Republicans like, nah, we don't care. We're gonna ride this thing out. And it even went as far as, the lieutenant governor for our state, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, put up $1 million to uncover voter fraud. Now, there has not been a detection of voter fraud yet. But yet you have reputable politicians putting up as much as $1 million to say, find me some. And so I ask you tonight, should he concede? Is all of these men who we've trusted to run our country, is all of them crazy? Is they all just running around here saying, man, we're going to do whatever we can. We're going to shipwreck the country since we lost? Or do they have a point? I'm asking you, Holla-tics. Holla-tics 7 Grogan said, we've all seen the video footage of postal workers destroying Trump votes. So if one voter ballot was destroyed on video, how many were destroyed privately? Which could be a good point. And so if you've seen these and there's evidence, how much of the system do we trust? It's really, we've never been here, man. We've never really been here in order to even, kind of figure out where we go from here. Which is, which is crazy. So Holla-tics, y'all weigh in, man. Holla-tics 43. President Trump concede. Should he concede? Yes, no, tell me why. It is getting close to the end of the hour. I will weigh in because I don't like suspenses and surprises. This is my official weigh-in, Should President Trump concede? Because of who I am, I'm more of a gentleman. I would be like, okay, yes, let me go ahead and concede because I'm thinking about my countrymen and position that the country is in. And, the people that's dying from the COVID-19, as well as the economic effect that it has had on the country. All this stuff will be playing in my mind, which is, I'm sure is playing in his mind. The whole world is watching him. He has to be under immense pressure right now. But again, I'm more of a gentleman. And as well as that, if you remember back a couple shows, I talked about being able to sit down with a billionaire or having the opportunity to sit down with somebody who's way wealthier than I am, in the billions. I said billionaire just to keep it simple. I said the one thing I would ask them for, and they could give you this, they could give you that brass, I told you the one thing I would ask them for was access. And the reason I explained that I would like to have access is so that I could see. Because sometimes we could create something here on ground level and we get our emotions and our passions into it. But we have no idea that guys that's, in the high rise who can see further than we are, who can see better. They can see the next move, that this very thing that we're building is getting ready to be excommunicado. We're not going to even deal with that anymore. Coming next year, that's going to be old news. The factories are already being torn down. They're already into bankruptcy. And you put passion and energy into something that don't exist tomorrow because the person that has vision, the power, they can see further than you. So again, do I think Donald Trump should concede? Yes, because I'm looking at the people that I know that's dying. I'm looking at the people I know that's hurting from, the economic effects of COVID-19. I'm looking at the nations that's watching on us, and I'm listening to Barack Obama and other people saying, man, we need to go ahead and get this thing moving. However, I do not pretend that I'm in the position of Donald Trump and that I can see, because he has power. He's in one of them positions that he can see stuff that we cannot on this level. So I would not pretend that I'm on that level. So do I believe he should concede and, go ahead and turn the keys over? Yes. But do I think he's wrong for not? I cannot say that, because he may be looking at something that I'm not able to see. You're not able to see. We're not able to see on this level. And so could the people around him and the people that is offering up, such value, That is my way in. And why? Why do I believe he should concede? Because I do believe he concede. Again, it's just for genuine purposes, man. I believe the country needs to get going. But again, I had a friend of mine tell me this. He said, when you judge something from afar off, you usually gonna judge it wrong. And, that's not the case all the time, but in most cases it is. I'm stuttering tonight, y'all. But Holla-tics, I need y'all to weigh in. Holla-tic 43, Trump conceding. Do you believe Trump should concede? Half the country still listen to him. So even if he does decide to concede, how he concedes will also be important, because he could cause just as much havoc in the political world, not being in office as he can. Vic say, don't pass me over. I didn't see your comment, Vic. Facebook is old. Vic say, yes, he should, so he won't hurt when he runs for 2024. That is a fresh perspective, Vic. Holla-tic Victor Moore say, yeah, he should go ahead, concede. That way he can just come back and run for 24. That is a fresh perspective, Vic. Holla-tic Mike Robinson say, I think the president should concede because to help Biden administration to transition smoother, and he's undermining the whole democratic process of the United States, and he's always putting the United States in a national security risk. That is Michael Robinson saying, yeah, he need to go ahead and do it. He undermining the whole democratic process, and he always putting the United States in a national security risk. Holla-tic 7 Grogan says it's not in his DNA, man. He say he won't do it. Holla-tic Rod Woe say, yes, people are dying. Check the flu death numbers. Yep, I mean, I'm not one who likes to play the political games when it comes to the deaf people. But again, these men are fighting for control of the most powerful nation in the country. What Trump is looking at, what is being done while he's sitting, not conceding, I have no idea. We can only speculate and guess from this side. We do see the COVID-19 ramping up. I remember Dr. Fauci talking about how the wintertime will be even worse than the summertime. And he was right. I heard him in a conversation today with Bill Gates, and they were saying the next 3 months is going to probably be the worst months that we didn't have since the virus. So there's pressure being applied to Trump, according to, COVID-19. But again, I mean, my man has not conceded. So what is he seeing that we're not seeing? Is it even important? Holla-tics Chris Appleton say, normally at this point, the one behind should concede. But he is not a career politician, so he won't handle this like any other politician would. That's right, Chris. Holla-tics Robert Harris, my brother, is weighing in. He said he lost, he needs to concede. It's time for the Manchurian candidate to go. The Republicans back him because they do not want to give up the power. I don't care for him because he took the same oath I did to uphold, and he violated every part of it. I could go on, but there's not enough time. That is my brother. Robert Harris weighing in from Seattle, Washington. He say the Manchurian candidate has to go. Before that was Chris Appleton weighing in, saying he ain't the ideal politician. He's not going to do what the ideal politician would do, which is concede right now. That ain't how he got to be Donald Trump. That is Holla-tics Chris Appleton from Arizona, my guy, man. So tonight on the floor, many believe President Trump won, or at least has a point pertaining to the vote counting process. Whether he lost earnestly or not, almost half the country is directly influenced by him. He only lost by 4 million. Should the president concede? I had people weighing in on every side. I love it on nights like this when there's mixed opinions. Again, I weighed in earlier. I said he should concede because I am a gentleman. However, I do reserve the point that I'm not on these guys' level. I don't have the information they have. Their power and their money allows them to see things that we cannot see on this level. I believe we should all share certain central morals and beliefs when it comes to being courteous and kind and being certain ways towards each other. But, when you're not dealing with something that's general, and that's the presidential election. It's not a general situation. It's not something we all face. It's not something we go through. We cast our votes and we wait to see what happens. So these guys play on high levels, man. I couldn't understand why Biden and Kamala passed over Texas, because, some rednecks rolled a truck by their bus. But again, they went to Georgia and they flipped the state. So again, that's a perfect example. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden was due to be here. And the bus came in. I think some trucks circled the bus and they said, they got scared. They were not on the bus. Neither candidate was on the bus. Even if they were, you're talking about an ex-vice president that's sitting senator. Secret Service is colder than some rednecks with moonshine in the truck, I believe. But they chose not to stop here, but they kept going to Atlanta and they flipped the country over. I mean, they flipped the state over. They went to Georgia, and flipped the state. So in one of them calls, I would have been like, man, keep your word. But here it was, politics and power, was smarter than chivalry and whatever we want to call it, morals or whatever. So, they fighting for the most powerful position in the country. So do our rules apply? The stuff that we feel like applies to each other. Even throughout the whole administration of Trump, I've always asked y'all that, Sometimes we want to apply, our rules, everyday rules, me and your rules to these men and women, but they play on a high plateau. So Holla-tics, y'all weigh in tonight on the floor, 43. Holla-tics, Trump's conceding. Many believe President Trump has won. Trump has been tweeting he won, and Twitter keep putting messages like, this ain't true. This is opinion, because he the president. Anyone else can do that. Twitter don't care, but the president, like, hey, you got too much influence, bro. Many believe he at least have a point when it comes to the voter fraud counting. So whether he lost or not, half the country is behind him. Do you believe Trump should concede? I've had all kinds of answers weigh in tonight. From yes, my brother called him the Manchurian candidate. Vic say, yeah, go ahead, concede so you won't mess up your opportunity for 24. Vic say, go ahead, give it up, then come back on these boys on 24. The Robinson brothers say, man, go ahead, man, be a gentleman. You're screwing up the country. I weighed in myself tonight and said, I believe in just because of keeping the American process going, he should. But again, I reserve my opinion that, I'm not on these guys' power, on their level. So I don't have the power and I can't see what they see. Maybe there is something there. I don't know. I've already accepted Joe Biden as my president, as many has already had. Holla-tics, man, we're on our way out, man. Y'all get to know each other, of course. Continue the conversation. Tonight on the floor, 43. Trump concede, yes, no, and why? I thought we was done with this, man. I mean, like 3 weeks we weighed in, and I told you Biden would wake up the Democratic monster, Trump will be on his way out, and that's exactly what happened. I had no way on God's green earth of predicting that Trump would be like, nah, I ain't going nowhere. So here I am, forced to bring this stuff to the Holla-tics flow one more time. I thought we was over it. I was ready to talk about something else, but it's like Trump, Joe Biden, COVID-19 just won't go away, y'all. But guess what? We can talk about whatever we want to. Holla-tics, man, y'all give me subjects. And y'all know what's precedent gonna take over first, man. We park where the power is, and power is in decision makers. My choice, your choice. Political Science 2.0, Holla-ticking, Holla-tics, live, the interactive podcast. Every 7:30 to 8:30 each night. I'm Raz, your host, narrator, orator, chief politician. And listen to me. If God puts in your power the opportunity to change somebody's life, and he gives you the chance to do it, opportunity, I already said that, man, you do it. That is why he put you in that place. Don't be a chicken. And like my man Pickle Juice would say, walk with the king and be a blessing in all things. Listen, we are out. I see you guys tomorrow, man. Y'all go follow us on YouTube, Hollatics.com. Also, subscribe. We need to get our viewership over there. Share the show as well. I see you guys tomorrow.